The night was colder than usual. The city streets were almost empty, except for the sound of the wind moving through broken signs and trash cans. Under a broken bridge, a boy sat alone. His clothes were thin and his shoes had holes. He was only 12, maybe 13, but life had already been cruel to him. He hugged an old blanket around his shoulders. It was dirty, torn in many places, but it was the only thing that kept him warm. He had no home, no family, no friends. Only this blanket in the dark corners of the city. The boy's stomach growled. He had not eaten for 2 days. Sometimes people threw away half-eaten food, and he survived on that. But tonight the trash bins were empty. His body was weak, but he tried to stay awake. Sleeping in the cold was dangerous. Many times he had seen other homeless people close their eyes and never wake up. He looked up at the sky. The city lights made it hard to see the stars, but tonight there was something else. A strange glow. It was not the color of stars, not white or yellow. It was green, soft but bright enough to cut through the clouds. The boy frowned. He rubbed his eyes. Was he imagining it? The light seemed to move like it was alive. It floated across the sky, then dipped lower, closer to the ground. Curiosity filled him. For a moment he forgot about hunger and cold. Slowly he stood up, clutching his blanket tightly. He followed the light step by step through the dark streets. The city was silent. Even the dogs that usually barked at night were gone. The boy walked past closed shops, broken windows, and empty cars. The green light pulsed, leading him further away from the bridge. Finally, he reached an empty lot filled with rubble. The light was no longer floating. It was lying on the ground, faint and weak, as if it was about to fade. The boy moved closer. His heart beat fast. He had seen many strange things in the city. Fights, fires, even police chases. But never this. When he came close, he froze. It was not just light. It was a child. Not a human child. The small figure lay curled on the ground, its skin pale blue, almost glowing. Its arms were thin, its fingers long and delicate. Strange patterns ran across its face like silver lines. Its eyes were closed and its body shook as if it was freezing. The boy stepped back in fear. He looked around, half expecting someone to jump out and laugh like it was a cruel trick. But no one was there. Only silence and the wind. The alien child opened its mouth and made a weak sound, soft, broken, and painful. The boy could not understand it, but he knew one thing. This creature was dying. The boy stood there, frozen. His mind told him to run. This was not his problem. This was dangerous. But something inside his chest told him to stay. He looked at his blanket, then at the shivering alien. It was the only thing he owned in the whole world. Without it, he might not survive the night, but the alien might not survive even the next few minutes. The boy hesitated. His teeth chattered. His hands shook. He could walk away and forget. Nobody would ever know. But then, for the first time in many years, he saw something familiar. Fear. The alien child's face had the same fear he had felt when he was abandoned, when hunger hurt his stomach, when the cold almost froze his bones. Slowly, with trembling hands, the boy bent down. He pulled the blanket from his shoulders and wrapped it around the alien child. The creature opened its eyes. They were not like human eyes. They glowed faintly like 2 stars trapped in glass. It looked straight at the boy. The boy did not speak. He only tightened the blanket around the fragile body. The alien whispered something in a strange language. The sound was soft, almost musical, but the boy could not understand. Still, he knew what it meant. It was a thank you. The boy sat down beside the alien. His body shook without the blanket, the cold biting deep into his skin, but he did not move. For the first time in a long time, he was not completely alone. The night grew darker. The wind grew stronger. But in that broken lot, under the ruined city lights, something new was born. An unspoken bond between 2 children from different worlds. And high above, hidden in the clouds, shadows moved. Shapes too large, too silent, too precise to be human machines. They were searching, but the boy did not see them. Not yet. The boy sat beside the strange child all night. His body shook without the blanket, but he did not move away. The alien's skin glowed faintly under the torn fabric, and its chest rose and fell in weak, shallow breaths. The boy did not know why he stayed. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe it was kindness. Or maybe deep down he felt that this small creature was just like him, lost, hungry, and unwanted. As the hours passed, the alien stirred. Its large glowing eyes blinked open again. They were filled with confusion, pain, and something else, a silent plea. The boy spoke softly. "You're safe. Don't worry." Of course, the alien could not understand his words. But the tone, the voice, the gentle way he spoke, it seemed to calm the child. The alien's trembling slowed. It pulled the blanket tighter around itself, as if it could feel the warmth the boy had left inside it. The boy's stomach growled again, loud in the silence. The alien tilted its head, confused by the sound. The boy laughed a little, even though he was weak. "Hungry, huh? Me too." From his pocket, he pulled out a small piece of bread he had found the day before. It was old, dry, and hard. He had saved it for himself. But now, looking at the alien child, he broke the piece in half and held it out. The alien hesitated, staring at the strange food. Then slowly it reached out its thin hand and took it. It sniffed, studied, then placed it in its mouth. The boy smiled. "Not so bad, right?" The alien's eyes glowed brighter for a second, like a spark of life had returned. They sat in silence. No words, no shared language, but there was a strange comfort between them. The alien reached for the ground. With one long finger, it began to draw shapes in the dirt. Circles, lines, strange patterns the boy had never seen. The boy tilted his head. "What's that?" "Your name?" The alien looked at him, then repeated the motion. A circle, then 3 lines inside. It pointed to its chest. The boy nodded slowly. "That's you." He picked up a stick and scratched his own name in the dirt, Jacob. He pointed to himself. "Jacob." The alien's glowing eyes followed each letter with curiosity. Then it touched the word with its thin fingers and repeated a soft sound, trying to mimic it. "Yeah." The boy froze. His heart beat faster. The alien had spoken his name. A small smile spread across his face. "Yeah, Jacob." The bond grew stronger. They kept drawing in the dirt, symbols, letters, simple shapes. Sometimes they laughed quietly when the other made a mistake. The cold, the hunger, the pain, everything seemed to fade for a little while. But outside their small circle of trust, the world was not silent. Strange noises echoed in the distance. A hum, low and deep, like machines moving through the air. The boy looked up nervously. He had seen police drones before, searching for criminals or scanning homeless camps, but these sounds were different. Sharper, faster, more alive. The alien child stiffened. Its body shook again, but this time not from cold. It was fear. Its glowing eyes darted around, searching the dark sky. The boy whispered, "They're looking for you, aren't they?" The alien made a weak sound, like a whimper. It grabbed Jacob's arm tightly with surprising strength. Jacob felt the fear in that grip. The alien was not just lost. It was being hunted. He stood up quickly and looked around. There was no place safe in the open lot. His eyes fell on an old abandoned pipe lying among the rubble. It was wide enough to crawl into, dark enough to hide. "Come on," he whispered, pulling the alien gently. "We have to move." The alien tried to stand but stumbled, too weak. Jacob bit his lip, then crouched down. "Climb on." "I'll carry you." The alien hesitated, then wrapped its thin arms around his neck. Jacob carried it toward the pipe, step by step, his small body straining under the weight. When they finally reached it, he pushed the alien inside and crawled in after. The space was cramped, but it was hidden. Outside, beams of light swept across the lot. Shadows of strange flying machines glided over the ground. Their red eyes blinked, scanning, searching. Jacob held his breath. The alien held his arm tightly, trembling. The machines passed once, then again. The sound of their engines made the ground vibrate. Jacob closed his eyes, praying they would not be found. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the sound faded into the distance. Jacob let out the breath he had been holding. He looked at the alien child. Its glowing eyes were filled with both fear and trust. He whispered, "Don't worry. I won't let them take you." The alien's thin fingers squeezed his hand in reply. No words were needed. The bond was clear now. For the first time in his life, Jacob felt important. Not just a homeless boy. Not just a forgotten soul in a cold city. He had someone who depended on him. But as dawn approached, the sky lit up with more strange shadows. The hunters were not giving up. They were closing in, and Jacob's life was about to change forever. The morning sun had barely risen when the sound returned. Jacob woke to the low hum shaking the air. The alien child was still curled beside him inside the pipe, clutching his arm. Its glowing eyes flickered open wide with fear. The hum grew louder. It was not one machine now, it was many. Jacob crawled to the edge of the pipe and peeked out. In the sky above the ruins, strange flying drones circled like vultures. They were black, sharp-edged, and alive with red scanning lights. They moved in perfect patterns as if controlled by one mind. Jacob felt his heart pound. He had seen police drones before, but these were different. Bigger, faster, smarter. "They're hunting you," Jacob whispered, glancing back at the alien child. "And if they find you, they'll find me too." The alien let out a weak sound like a broken melody. It touched Jacob's hand, trembling. Jacob bit his lip. Running would be useless, but staying hidden meant starving. He had to think fast. The drones swooped lower, their red beams slicing across the ground. One beam passed dangerously close to the pipe. Dust fell from above, and the alien flinched. Jacob knew the hiding place would not last long. He crawled out slowly and scanned the lot. The drones were searching in a wide circle. If he stayed near the pipe, they would find the alien. He turned back. "Listen, stay here. Don't make a sound." The alien shook its head, panic in its glowing eyes. Jacob forced a small smile. "Trust me. I'll come back." Without waiting, he ran out into the open. His small body darted between rubble piles and broken cars. The drones turned at once, their red eyes locking onto him. Jacob's chest tightened, but he kept running. "Come on, then. Chase me!" The machine shrieked, a sound like metal tearing, and dove after him. Jacob's legs burned as he sprinted down the empty street. His shoes slapped against the cracked pavement. Behind him, beams of red light cut the ground, missing him by inches. He jumped over a broken fence, rolled across the dirt, and scrambled up. His lungs screamed for air, but he didn't stop. The further the drones chased him, the safer the alien child would be. One of the drones caught up quickly. It hovered just above him, its red eye glowing hotter, charging. Jacob's heart froze. The machine fired a bolt of energy at the ground near his feet. The explosion threw him forward. His body hit the pavement hard, pain shooting through his arms and legs. He turned, trembling as the drone aimed again. Then, a strange sound echoed like a deep pulse. From far away, the alien child had crawled out of the pipe. Its small hand glowed with faint energy. The glow spread brighter and brighter until it released a sudden shockwave. The drone froze in midair. Its red light flickered, then went dark. With a screech, it dropped from the sky, smashing into the ground. Jacob gasped. You did that?" The alien collapsed, falling to its knees. The energy had drained it completely. Jacob scrambled to his feet and rushed to the child. He pulled the alien into his arms, holding it tight. Its body was cold, shaking, weaker than before. "Don't do that again," Jacob whispered, tears burning in his eyes. "You'll kill yourself." The alien's glowing eyes blinked slowly, trying to stay awake. It touched his face gently, as if to say it was worth it. Jacob shook his head. "No, I'm supposed to protect you." But the danger wasn't over. More drones appeared, dozens of them circling high above. Their red eyes burned brighter, scanning with anger. The destroyed machine had given them a clear signal. The target was here. Jacob carried the alien in his arms and stumbled toward the shadows of an alley. His small frame shook under the weight, but he refused to stop. He found an abandoned building with shattered windows. He slipped inside, breathing hard, and hid behind a pile of old boxes. The alien child's breathing was faint. Jacob tore a piece of his own shirt and dipped it in a puddle of rainwater. He wiped the alien's face gently, whispering, "Stay with me. Don't leave me." The alien's glowing eyes opened just a little. It whispered his name again, broken but clear. "Yes, Cobb." Jacob froze. Hearing his name from those strange lips filled him with warmth and fear at the same time. He squeezed the alien's hand. "I'm here. I won't let them take you." Outside, the drones circled lower. Their beams pierced through the broken windows. Jacob held his breath and pulled the alien closer. He knew the machines were smarter than him, faster than him. But he also knew one thing: they wanted the alien alive. That meant he had a chance. He looked around the broken room, his mind racing. He found a loose pipe, long and rusty, lying on the floor. He grabbed it tightly, his small hands shaking. "I'm just a boy," he whispered to himself. "But if they want you, they'll have to go through me." The red light of a drone cut across the room. It had found them. Jacob stood tall, his body weak but his spirit burning. For the first time in his life, he had something worth fighting for, and the hunters in the sky were about to learn that humans did not give up easily. The drone's red beam filled the broken room like fire. Dust floated in the air, glowing under the light. Jacob stood with the rusty pipe in his hands, his heart racing so fast it hurt. The alien child pressed weakly against him, too tired to move, but its glowing eyes stayed fixed on him as if asking, "Will you protect me?" Jacob gritted his teeth. "I will." The drone slid closer, its metal wings folding inward as its weapons charged. The hum in the air grew sharp, painful to his ears. He lifted the pipe, though he knew it was useless. The machine shrieked, ready to strike. And then, the alien child moved. With what little strength it had left, it lifted one thin hand. A small spark of blue light burst from its skin and rushed toward the drone. It wasn't strong enough to destroy it, but it was enough to confuse the sensors. The red beam flickered. Jacob didn't wait. He swung the pipe with all his strength. The rusty metal smashed against the drone's lens. Sparks flew. The machine screeched and spun out of control, crashing into the far wall. Jacob grabbed the alien and ran. His feet slipped on the cracked floor, but fear gave him speed. He pushed through a broken doorway and stumbled into the open street. The sky was alive with hunters. More drones swooped down, dozens of them, their red eyes glowing like fireflies of war. Their beams swept the ground, searching. Jacob ducked into an alley, clutching the alien tight against his chest. His breath came in sharp gasps. His legs trembled, but he kept moving. "They'll never stop," he whispered. "But neither will I." The sound of wings cut through the air above him. Another drone spotted them. It fired. The bolt struck the wall beside Jacob, blasting brick into dust. He fell hard, the alien slipping from his arms. "Jacob!" The voice was faint, broken, but real. The alien had spoken his name again. That single word gave him strength. He scrambled forward, grabbed the alien, and pulled it into his arms. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he ignored it. He had no choice. The alley opened into a wide street filled with wrecked cars. Jacob spotted a storm drain ahead, dark, narrow, almost invisible. "That's it," he muttered. "That's our way." He ran for it, but the drones closed in. Their beams lit the cars on fire, metal groaning as flames spread. The air filled with smoke. Jacob coughed but didn't stop. Just as a drone fired again, he dove into the drain. The bolt exploded behind him, shaking the ground. He and the alien slid down into the darkness. The drain was narrow, the smell of old water heavy in the air. Jacob's knees scraped against the rough stone, but the deeper he went, the safer it felt. The noise of the drones faded above. The alien clung to him, its breathing weak but steady. Jacob set it down for a moment, panting hard. His chest hurt, his legs burned, but his eyes burned brighter than ever. "You saved me back there," he whispered. "But don't do it again. You'll die if you keep using that power." The alien tilted its head, glowing eyes soft. It raised a hand and pressed it to Jacob's chest. The boy's heart beat wildly under its touch. Jacob swallowed. "Yeah, I'll keep going. For you." They rested for a short while, hidden in the drain. But Jacob knew it couldn't last. The hunters would not give up. They would search every corner, every shadow, until they found their target. Suddenly, the ground shook. A deep rumble echoed through the tunnels. Jacob looked up, fear crawling down his spine. That wasn't a drone. That was something bigger. He peeked out through a grate. Above the street, a massive ship hovered. It was black and silver, with sharp edges that cut through the clouds. The air seemed to tremble around it. Drones swarmed around the ship like insects, and a beam of green light scanned the ruins below. The alien child gasped softly, its eyes wide with recognition. Jacob didn't understand the sound it made, but he understood the feeling, terror. "Is that—" "Who's after you?" Jacob whispered. "Your enemy?" The alien shook its head slowly. Its glowing eyes filled with sorrow. Jacob frowned. "Not enemy, family?" The alien didn't answer. It only held his hand tighter. Jacob's mind spun. If that ship belonged to its people, why were the drones hunting it? Why was it left alone, hurt, dying in the cold? The questions burned, but there was no time for answers. The ship's beam swept dangerously close to the drain. Jacob pulled the alien deeper into the tunnel. His body ached, his mind screamed to rest, but he forced himself forward. Every step he took echoed loudly in the silence. Every shadow looked like danger. But he didn't stop. For the first time in his life, Jacob wasn't just running to survive. He was running to protect someone else. The hunters in the sky would not stop, but neither would he. And as the great ship loomed above the city, Jacob knew this was only the beginning of something far bigger than he could imagine. The city woke to a sound it had never heard before. At first, people thought it was thunder. The ground shook, windows rattled, and car alarms screamed. But when they looked up, fear spread through every street. The sky was full of ships. Black and silver giants cut through the clouds, their sharp edges glinting in the morning light. Dozens of them hung in the air, silent and terrifying, like predators circling their prey. Smaller crafts broke away from the mothership, sliding down toward the ground. People ran in panic. Cars crashed into each other. Alarms wailed. News screens on tall buildings flickered to emergency warnings. "Stay inside! Stay inside!" Voices shouted over radios, but no one listened. Everyone knew nothing could stop what was coming. Jacob crouched in the shadows of the storm drain, holding the alien child close. His heart pounded as he watched the sky through the grate above. "They found you," he whispered. His voice shook. The aliens' glowing eyes reflected the ships. But instead of relief, they showed fear. The child's thin fingers clutched Jacob's shirt tightly. Jacob frowned. "You don't want to go with them, do you?" The alien shook its head slowly. Its eyes filled with tears that shimmered like light. Jacob felt his chest tighten. "Then we can't let them take you." The ground trembled again. From the largest ship, beams of green light stretched down to the city streets. The light twisted, growing, shaping into figures. They were not drones, they were warriors. Hundreds of them appeared, tall and armored, their bodies covered in silver plating that shimmered like liquid metal. They carried weapons unlike anything Jacob had seen, long staffs that glowed with deadly energy. The warriors marched in perfect lines, their footsteps shaking the earth. People screamed and ran. Some fell to their knees begging. The air filled with chaos, sirens, shouts, crying, but the warriors ignored everyone. Their glowing helmets scanned the crowd, searching. Jacob's throat went dry. They weren't here for the humans. They were here for the alien child. The alien clung tighter to him. Its glowing eyes never left the warriors. One of the soldiers stopped suddenly. Its helmet turned toward Jacob's hiding place. The red glow of its visor locked on. Jacob froze. The warrior raised a hand and pointed directly at the storm drain. Its voice echoed like thunder. "Bring him forward." Jacob's heart nearly stopped. Him? Before he could move, the ground above the drain cracked. Two warriors pulled the metal grate away as if it weighed nothing. Sunlight and shadows flooded in. Jacob held the alien tighter, his small arms shaking. "No, you can't have him!" The alien child weakly raised its head, eyes glowing brighter. It made a soft sound, pleading, broken. The warriors stepped back. Then something unexpected happened. They knelt. One by one, the tall soldiers lowered themselves to the ground in perfect order. Their staffs touched the pavement. Their heads bowed. The humans around the street gasped. Some screamed louder, others fell silent in shock. Jacob blinked, confused. His chest rose and fell rapidly. He didn't understand. Why would an army kneel to him? Then the commander appeared. He was taller than the rest, his armor black with streaks of gold. His weapon glowed brighter, sharper. His helmet split open, revealing a face with pale skin and silver markings like the alien child's. His eyes glowed with a light that could burn through stone. He looked directly at Jacob, and then he spoke. His voice was deep, heavy with power. "You carry the child of the stars." Jacob's mouth went dry. "What?" The commander pointed to the small alien trembling in Jacob's arms. "He is not just a child. He is our prince." The world seemed to freeze. Jacob's eyes widened. He looked at the alien. The child's glowing eyes met his. And in that moment he understood. The hunters, the fear, the warships. This wasn't just any lost creature. He had saved someone far more important. The commander's gaze softened, though his voice stayed like iron. "By giving him your blanket, by sharing your food, by protecting him, you have done what no other would. You gave everything, though you had nothing. Do you know what that means, human?" Jacob shook his head, trembling. "It means the prince chose you." Behind the commander, the warriors struck their staffs to the ground. The sound echoed like thunder, rolling through the city. The humans who had gathered to watch fell silent. Some stared in awe, others in terror. Jacob held the alien tighter. His body shook with fear, but deep inside something else grew. A strange fire in his chest. For the first time in his life, he wasn't invisible. He wasn't just a homeless boy in a forgotten city. He was standing before an army that had crossed the stars, and they were kneeling to him. The street was silent. Hundreds of armored aliens knelt before a ragged boy holding a shivering child. Smoke still rose from burning cars. Humans watched from windows and alleys, frozen between terror and disbelief. Jacob's legs shook. His arms ached from holding the alien child, but he would not let go. His eyes darted between the kneeling warriors and the towering commander. I don't understand, Jacob whispered. The alien commander stepped forward. His glowing eyes burned like fire behind silver markings. He spoke in a deep, steady voice. You sheltered our prince when he was dying. You gave him warmth when you had none yourself. No law in the galaxy forgives such a gift. Jacob frowned. Forgives? The commander's gaze hardened. To give away everything for one not of your kind, it is a crime among the stars. Our people believe loyalty belongs only to our own. But you broke that law. Jacob swallowed hard. His throat was dry. So, you're going to punish me? The alien child stirred in his arms. It shook its head weakly and whispered, No. Its glowing eyes looked up at Jacob, filled with trust. The commander's voice softened slightly. The prince lives because of you. By our law, you should be destroyed, but by our honor, you should be raised above kings. The humans nearby gasped. Whispers filled the air. Some shouted in fear, others cried out in anger. Don't take him, a man yelled. They'll kill us all. Another screamed. Jacob's chest tightened. All his life, no one had cared if he lived or died. Now everyone's eyes were on him. An entire army waited for his choice. The commander lifted his staff and pointed it at Jacob. The ground trembled beneath his words. You must decide. Stay with your kind, and we will leave this world untouched. Or come with us and walk among the stars. Protect the prince. Learn our ways. Your life will no longer be your own. Jacob's head spun. Leave Earth? Leave the streets, the cold, the hunger? Go into the sky with warriors and ships and laws he could not understand? But then he looked at the alien child in his arms. The small fingers clutching his shirt. The glowing eyes full of hope. This child trusted him more than anyone else in the universe. Jacob whispered, What do you want me to do? The alien prince reached up and touched Jacob's face. No words, only a single tear of light rolling down its cheek. Jacob closed his eyes. He remembered nights of hunger, nights of loneliness, nights when the blanket was all he had. And then he remembered the moment he gave it away. Not for reward, not for glory, but because he couldn't watch someone die. His choice was already made. He stood taller, his thin frame shaking but unbroken. He faced the commander and spoke with a voice louder than he knew he had. I'll go. I'll protect him. I don't care about your laws. I don't care about your punishments. He's my friend. The street fell silent again. The commander's eyes narrowed, then glowed brighter. Slowly, he struck his staff against the ground. The sound rang like a bell across the city. Then it is decided. The boy is under our protection. None may harm him. The warriors rose as one. Their staffs clashed against the pavement in thunderous unity. The sound made windows shatter and hearts tremble. Humans screamed in fear. Some dropped to their knees, others ran. They thought Earth had just been conquered. Jacob looked around nervously. Wait, I don't want them to be afraid. I'm not their enemy. The commander turned his gaze on the humans watching. His voice carried across the city. This boy has done what your kind has forgotten. He gave without asking. He protected without fear. You should not fear him. You should learn from him. Jacob's face burned. For the first time, someone spoke of him not as trash, not as invisible, but as something greater. Still, fear lingered in the eyes of the humans. They looked at him like he was no longer one of them. The alien prince touched Jacob's cheek again, whispering softly, Jacob. The word steadied him. The commander raised his arm. A beam of green light wrapped around Jacob and the alien prince. The air vibrated, and their bodies lifted slowly from the ground. Jacob clutched the alien tighter as the city fell away beneath him. The humans grew smaller, their shouts fading. The army of warriors rose with them, climbing into the sky toward the waiting ships. Jacob looked down one last time. The bridge he once slept under. The alleys he once hid in. The streets that never cared whether he lived or died. Now he was leaving it all behind. The commander's voice echoed in his ears. You are no longer just a boy. You are chosen. You are the one who broke the law of the stars. Jacob's heart pounded, fear mixed with wonder. His choice had been made, and nothing on earth would ever be the same again. The ship's doors closed behind them with a deep metallic echo. Jacob clutched the alien prince close as the chamber filled with green light. His feet trembled on the smooth silver floor, so clean and bright that his reflection looked back at him. For a moment, silence pressed on his ears. Then the ship rose higher, leaving Earth below. Through a wide window, Jacob saw the world shrinking, a blue sphere covered in clouds glowing against the endless dark. His heart ached. That was his home. The broken streets, the cold nights, the people who never noticed him. He should have hated it. But now, leaving it behind, he felt something else. Loss. The alien commander stood tall at his side. The prince rested weakly in Jacob's arms, but its glowing eyes never left him. The commander spoke, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. "Do you know why our laws forbid what you did?" Jacob shook his head. His throat was dry. No, the commander's eyes glowed brighter. Because sacrifice without blood ties is dangerous. It breaks balance. It changes fate. When one gives everything to a stranger, others are forced to question their own hearts. Jacob frowned. "So, kindness is against the law?" "Not kindness," the commander said. Human kindness. The kind that ignores logic. The kind that risks death for nothing in return. It is feared. The boy's chest tightened. All his life, people had looked at him like he was nothing. Now an entire civilization feared what he carried inside. The alien prince stirred and whispered, "Jacob." Jacob bent his head. "Yeah, I'm here." The prince touched his chest with weak fingers. Its eyes glowed brighter, then dimmed, as if the last of its strength was leaving. Jacob panicked. "Wait, he's dying!" Jacob shouted. "Do something!" The commander raised his hand and medics in silver robes hurried forward. They placed the prince on a glowing table. Strange symbols flickered above his body. The boy stepped closer, his hands pressed against the glass surface. The prince's eyes blinked weakly, still searching for Jacob. Jacob pressed his palm against the glass. "You'll be okay. Don't leave me." The medics worked quickly. Light poured into the child's chest. Slowly, the trembling stopped. His breathing steadied. His eyes closed, but this time in rest, not in pain. Jacob sighed in relief. His knees went weak. The commander looked at him. "He will live." "Because of you." Jacob lowered his head. "No, because of the blanket. Because I couldn't walk away." The commander studied him silently. Then he spoke words that shook the chamber. "Do you understand what this means, human? You changed our prince's fate. By extension, you changed the future of our people. Your act cannot be undone. From this day forward, the law of the stars has been broken." Jacob blinked. "Broken by me?" The commander's voice grew louder. "Yes, and because of you, humanity will never again be unseen. Every world will know there exists a race willing to give everything for nothing." The chamber doors opened. Rows of warriors stood waiting, their staffs raised in salute. Their voices thundered together. "Honor to the boy of Earth, honor to the lawbreaker. Honor to the human." Jacob's chest tightened. His eyes stung. No one had ever honored him before. No one had ever even noticed him. The commander placed a hand on his shoulder. "You will have a place among us. You will walk in halls where no human has ever stepped. You will be remembered." Jacob looked back at the window, at Earth glowing far below. He thought of the bridge he had slept under, the hunger, the loneliness. And then he thought of the night he gave away his blanket. One small choice. One act of kindness. And now the galaxy knew his name. The prince stirred on the table, opening his glowing eyes again. They met Jacob's eyes, and the boy understood. He was no longer just a homeless child. He was protector, friend, and now part of something greater. Jacob whispered softly, but the whole chamber seemed to hear. "I'm not special. I just didn't want him to die," the commander answered, his voice like thunder. "That is why you are special." The warriors struck their staffs to the floor. The sound rolled like a storm through the ship. Jacob stood taller, his fear fading. He knew he could never go back to the life he once had. But he also knew something else. His story was only beginning. As the ship carried him deeper into the stars, Jacob's reflection shone on the silver walls. Not the reflection of a boy forgotten by the world, but the reflection of the human who changed everything.